Integration by substitution. So use a smart substitution to solve some integration problems. Now, the thing with this is that you will be given this smart substitution in the question, all right? So it's just about how do we use it to solve a problem. Let's go for it. Now, just a couple of things before we go. Most of the time it will be a definite integral as a question, all right? So it could be indefinite, but most of the time it will be definite, and you'll see why. Okay, so there's a few background things that we need to do. So what we'll do is that we need to spread the page up in half, okay? And I'm going to write our substitution onto the right-hand side here. So I'm going to go u equals 3 minus x. And now I'm going to differentiate it like if I was doing a chain rule. So I'm going to go du dx, and it will equal -1. And now I'm going to rearrange this formula. I'm going to go du equals minus dx. So all I've done is move the dx to that side. Okay. And then therefore dx equals minus du. So now I've moved the negative over to that side. Okay. The next thing I'm going to have to do, actually I'll explain it whilst we do this. So let's rewrite this with the information that we have. We've got 3, 0, x, u to the 5, because that's the substitution that we've made. Okay, so that's our u, and dx. Now the issue is that now we have u's and we have x's, and we need to either go all in on the u's or all in on the x's. And because this is asking us to do a u substitution, we're going to go all in on the, we're just going to go all in on the u's. So I need to do a bit more work on my right-hand side to get that going, okay? So the first thing I need to look at is this guy here. I need to replace him into u's. So I'm going to rearrange this formula to make x the subject. So see if you follow. I'm going to make x equals 3 minus u. So that's great. The other thing that I've got is that I know that dx equals negative du. So I'm going to substitute that in for that. Okay. And then I'm almost ready to go. So I'm going to pop those in. I'm not going to put the boundaries in because I'm going to talk about those in a second. So instead of x, I'm going to put 3 minus u. And then we've got u to the 5. And instead of dx, I'm going to put in negative du. So my substitution there. So minus du. Okay. And one more thing, I need to change these boundaries. Now, this is probably the most critical step of them all. This is the one that most students forget more often than not, okay? So let's do it. I'm going to do it in a different color. When x equals 3, I'm just going to substitute it into here. When x equals 3, u equals 0, because we put 3 there, 3 minus 3 is 0, okay? All right, awesome. So that's my new boundary there. When x equals, what's an x boundary? 0. So if we put 0 there, u equals 3. Okay, so that works really well. And now so we put that there. Now we're almost set to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move that negative to the front, because I can move any constant to the front. So let's move it to the front. And now we're really ready to get moving. So now we can just differentiate with respect to u, and we can forget our life with the x's, because this is going to work out fine. What I will do though in my next step, and I'm going to start my next step over here, is I'm going to ski jump this across, okay? Because at the moment I don't see a way that I can integrate it, but if I ski jump it, I will be able to. So I'm going to go 0, 3, and if I ski jump it, I get 3u to the 5 minus u to the 6, and that all is with respect to du. Ooh, this I can do. So now I'm just going to integrate it. It's going to be 3u6 over 6 minus u7 over 7 and it's a definite integral, so that's going to be 0, and that's going to be 3. Now, I know that this will cancel out, and it'll be 2 there. So now, I've got this. So let me rewrite it so it looks pretty. Okay, and now it's just like any definite integrals. I know that these boundaries are u boundaries, and I know that's a u there, so I can just sub it in and I'm going to get a numerical answer. Okay, so 0 is just going to make this whole thing 0. Okay. Oh, there's something I'm missing. This negative from before, I forgot to carry it through, so I need to carry that through, otherwise my answer will be off by a negative. So keep that negative there. And so that means that there's a massive bracket there. Minus, and so now I have to substitute 3. So 3 to the 6 on 2, minus 3 to the 7 on 7, and then close the bracket down, and now I'm left with what? So I need to put this in my calculator, and I end up getting this number here. Not sure if it's correct or not. And the reason is that I end up getting a double negative here, so the answer ends up being positive. All right. Anyway, that's that. Let's go to the next one. All right. So we're going to use the substitution method again to solve this. So the first thing we need to do is prepare our page out. Okay. So let's prepare our page out so we can write it all in, and we go u equals 2 minus x du dx will equal negative 1. So we got du equals negative dx, and that means that dx is going to be negative du. Also, I need to account for this guy here, so I'm going to make x the subject. So x equals, so rearranging this formula, x equals 2 minus u, and then I'm going to do my little boundary stuff. When x equals, and I'm looking at this guy, which is 2, u will equal 0, and when x equals 0, u equals 2, and now I'm going to go off and do this question. I'm going to fast forward it because it's going to take too long, but let me see if there's any question. Minus, and now this is the one we have to worry about. It's going to be 4 bracket 2, 3 on 2 on 3, minus 2, 2, 5 on 2 on 5. Now, this double negative will make it positive, so it will equal to b, and it's approximately, unfortunately, it just gives me a decimal answer. It's going to be 1.508. 49447. High probability of a mistake there. This one, we're going to do the same sort of techniques that we've been doing. So we've got u equals 2x minus 1, du dx equals 2. Yep. So that means du equals 2 dx. And that means, therefore, dx will equal half du, or du on 2, whichever way you want to do it. All right, so all I'm doing is I'm treating this like a normal equation, and I'm just differentiating and then moving things around. Okay, So the next thing I need to do is account for this x. So I'm going to rearrange this formula to make x the subject. So I'm going to move that down there. So I'm going to start with 2x equals u plus 1. And then that means that x equals u plus 1 on 2. All right. So that I've got accounted for that. Now I'm going to go when x equals 2, u equals, it looks like it's 3. When x equals 1, u equals 1. So that's really, really good. Okay. And then other than that, I've got everything under control. So what we'll do is that we'll just substitute things in, and I end up getting the new boundaries will be 3 and 1. Now at the top here I'm going to have u plus 1 from this bit, and that 2 I'm going to put in with the bottom. So I'm going to go 2, and now that's in brackets. So that's our u, so it's going to be u squared. So let's do that. And then we're going to have, I'm going to go du, and notice that this is a half, so I'm going to bring that to the front, okay? So I'm going to bring the half u to the front, and I could almost bring this other half to the front, which I think I will do. I'll put a quarter, and then we'll go 3 over 1, and then we'll go u plus 1 over u squared, so we don't have to deal with any of these constants in our integration. All right, let's keep going. So my next line of working out is going to be here. Now, obviously for you, you're not going to go across. I've just got a limited screen in this video. You're going to go straight down in your page. So there's no muddying of the waters. Okay, so let's go for it. I've got a quarter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this guys up. It's got to be du, by the way. So I'm going to see if you can see what I've done. U over u squared plus 1 over u squared, all with du, and we've got 3 and 1. So obviously I can cancel a u here and a u there. So that's what I'll do. And I'm going to change this to a negative indice, and hopefully you know why. And then I'm just going to keep going. All right. So now that is just log. All right. That's the easiest one there is. And then the next one will be u to the -1 over -1. Okay. And that's all 3 and 1. So we can make that nicer. We can go a quarter log u minus 1 over u, 3 and 1. And if we substitute this in, we end up getting a quarter log of 3 minus a third. And then we go minus log of 1, which we know that log of 1 is 0, minus 1. And we end up getting an answer that looks a little bit like this. This is about as pretty as we're going to make it. Log 3 plus 2 over 3. All right. So it's dot, dot, dot. There's not too many steps in between there. But that's it. Hopefully this makes sense. Peace out.